As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner, YouGov, offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more.
William, let's talk about a story that, we've talked about this multiple times before.
Yep.
And a big segment of the gaming market seems to be, like, from a business standpoint, gaming chairs.
Yes.
And this has come up multiple times. We've had Matt Hillman, who created Mavix chairs. Like, we've had even guests on the podcast centered around gaming chairs. And so then I see this story in High Snob, I can't even pronounce it, highsnobiety.com. And the headline here is, Herman Miller has quietly cornered the luxury gaming chair market. And it's an interview, okay? It's a white paper or an interview with John Campbell, who's director of gaming at Herman Miller. And what's interesting is they talk about their Aeron chair, the collaboration with Logitech, etc. And I think what's interesting is the title here is so fascinating that in a nascent market like gaming, growing market like gaming, where if you look at gaming chairs in sort of that mid segment, call it $500 and under, right? There are probably a dozen, at least, manufacturers of gaming chairs that we could point to that are all doing well, right? All have very sustainable businesses in the space. But when you look at the high end, there's literally nothing there except Herman Miller. And they've managed to consume all the oxygen, all the mind share around high-end gaming. And I'm curious, like, why you think that is. And do we think this high end of gaming furniture, let's call it, in general, is now like a market that is impossible to break into as a consequence? Like, I'm curious how you feel about it, especially in the context of Herman Miller being not like an avant-garde, gaming brand either. This is like a furniture studio that was founded in 1905.
Like, the thing to say here is, I wonder if there's a simple argument to discuss. I wonder if it's just a case of quality wins. You know what I mean? Like, this is a market that's won by quality. Because you've always said so consistently, Paul, and it's really you I take the lead from, that Herman Miller is just the best and nobody can touch them. And, don't even think that you stand a chance because Herman Miller's the future. And
I have two. Like, I'm sitting on one and I have another one right here.
And yeah, it's like, and this might be a case of, look, like, you use your gaming chair a lot, right? Like, a lot, right? And you're probably a pretty good judge of if your chair is comfortable or not. You know what I mean? Like, could this just be a simple scenario of, look, like, you have a very educated consumer base that's able to discern quality. You have a case where the manufacturer has so much experience doing really comfy chairs, like, that fundamentally there's strong crossover between office and gaming, right? So they have a big quality advantage out of the gate. Like, is it not just the market solves itself and that's a win? And I'm not trying to disparage other gaming chairs. I don't know. I mean, but I definitely get the sense, at least from you, that Herman Miller is just so far and away above everyone else, right?
I think what's interesting to me is but I think they've bucked the trend in marketing in this space, which has been like, we got to get Courage and Valkyrie to sit in the chair, and then we have to run ads on Twitch, and
we got to give it a hold name, like
tournament, like
the Lemon Dragon chair. Like, it's like,
and the latest, like, Valorant tournament sponsored by Herman Miller, and like. And yes, they've done marketing with some key partners. I think they did all the. I think it was Team Liquid in their facility, whatever that they put their chairs
like that,
or and they partnered with Logitech, so there was that. But it hasn't been like the kind of flash, big influencer, big tournament, big
no, they
typical...
weren't like airdropping Herman Miller chairs into the League of Legends finals. You know what I mean? Like but. Yeah.
Is there some takeaway from that maybe the way everyone sort of thinks we need to reach gamers is maybe not entirely the only way, at least.
It's interesting because a few people have said to me over the years, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but something to the effect of, everybody thinks gaming is a marketing-driven industry, and it's the exact opposite, right? And I think this is a really and those comments have kind of swirled because they've been people I've respected who've basically said that, and they point to all the pageantry, right? Like all the performance, all the stuff you're talking about, like the ridiculous sponsorships and everything, and that has such high visibility. People believe that drives, but that what these people said to me again, sort of paraphrasing here, is the reality is gamers know what they like. And gamers are smart people with strong tastes, and you can't this isn't a group where you can market. It's not like marketing them cleaning wipes and is one wipe really better than the other? It's basically brand awareness and what's at eye level in the store. You know what I mean? This is a case where if I tell you any game, let's use games as an example because you have a very strong opinion about it, right? If I tell you, hey, Paul, let's go play Valorant, you're going to be tugging me to play Apex Legends right away. And you're going to give me and every gamer is like that. And that level of knowledge doesn't need to stop at the games themselves. It can go far, far deeper than that, right? I mean, even with you, think about when we did the audio setup for this podcast and you were like, oh, don't buy that mic. That mic, that's trash. You know what I mean? You got to do this. And there's a real expertise and domain expertise that gamers really have. And again, because gamers really do use the things they're purchasing, like keyboards, mice, all of this stuff, and they're cognizant, you have such immediate loops in gaming of your own performance, they have a very strong sense of what works and what doesn't. And so, the argument I'd have here would be, so if you take that as a view, yeah, maybe what these people are telling me, sort of paraphrase over the years is true, is you can do all this marketing and it can buy you some short-term traction. It can certainly do things like create categories. Let's be honest. I think it took marketing to convince people that gaming chairs should be a thing, right? I don't think we would have got there. But at the end of the day, because you're dealing with an educated consumer, the quality factor wins. If you have the best product, as long as you do enough to put that product in a consumer's consideration set, that's all you need to do because the consumer will take care of it themselves, right? I don't know. It's interesting, but
it is an interesting thought. And it's to me, I see multiple trends sort of converging with this Herman Miller story, right? Which is you see, call it older, more traditional brands dipping their toes into gaming, doing XYZ for gamers, right? In the same way Herman Miller did the M-Body chair, which I have, the original, and I have the Logitech one behind me, right? They did this version for gamers.
Yeah.
But also they've hung on to sort of their more traditional Herman Miller, obviously quality, but marketing as well, right? It's not like Herman Miller was never the flashy marketer in general, right?
No.
People who knew the brand, loved the brand, bought the brand, but it's not like they were running Super Bowl ads or, it just wasn't, it's not their DNA as a company. And so I see these trends of you're right, very authentic kind of appealing to an educated gaming consumer, but also this sort of parallel path of traditional brands making stuff for gamers. And I think the brands that figure out sort of the balance between the for gamer while still maintaining what made their brand, successful or special in the first place are the ones who are going to win.
The very thing about Herman Miller is they did not rip off the Herman Miller branding, right?
Correct.
I think I even said it was a mistake at the time. I thought they needed to have a new brand and they could put a powered by Herman Miller or from the makers of Herman or whatever on it to create the, the lineage. But I thought it was a mistake. But again, and again, like, I mean, almost that underscores the whole point. Like, if I were going to pitch you in a VC meeting, hey, I'm going to give you an awesome, gaming chair here, and the competitors are called DX Racer. And like, I don't know, what's another one, like Aurora, and like, and mine's going to be called Herman.
Titan Lab.
Yeah, mine's going to be called Herman. Like, you'd be like, what? And I'd be like, no, it's great. And people are going to associate it with office furniture. And you'd be like, you're done, get out of here, leave. But, all that says, I can't believe, I still stand by, I can't believe those weren't drags on the business. I can't believe those weren't drags. Because if they had an inferior product quality and it was called Herman and your first association was an office, you wouldn't buy that chair either. It must be something to do with the underlying fundamentals of the comfort of the chair.